Good evening, this is Kev, here to drive you crazy, and welcome to the first edition of Driven Deep Red Sox Baseball. So this is just my first little podcast, set it up for every Red Sox game right now, and let's just jump straight into it, that the Boston Red Sox have defeated the Toronto Blue Jays 2-1, and avoiding having a series loss, but at least splitting the series now. What an intense game this really was for all Red Sox fans, knowing that after the last two games that we've had against this team, we've been just doing terrible pitching, and we really needed to improve ourselves on this pitching game, and we essentially almost, and I do say almost, had ourselves that shutout, except for, of course, the best hitter in baseball probably by this point, Vladimir Guerrero, had himself a ninth inning home run off of Matt Barnes. So it came as a complete shock, but that ball was absolutely crushed. And there was no reason why that ball wasn't going to be hit. It was one of the more hanging kind of curveballs that Matt Barnes has thrown. And when you have a guy like Vladimir Guerrero, who's already spotting himself a 346 batting average, it's kind of hard not to say that he isn't going to just absolutely kill that, especially with an OPS of 1.148. So, but let's just jump straight into it, where the first run came with a Verdugo double and allowing Kike Hernandez to be able to score, and that was one of the better ones that came in the bottom of the third inning, our first run, and pretty much it was more on just pitching wise. Eovaldi went more than 6+ innings, and even though he wasn't able to finish off the seventh inning himself, he had Taylor come in for him, and Taylor did an amazing job. He went in there to finish off that seventh inning and completed out the eighth inning. It's one of those things that it makes you say, especially with everything that's going on right now about, the spider tack that's going on, talking about how pitching has been a very terrible thing, and especially with how the Red Sox pitching has been doing so bad, that it really shows that with Eovaldi being one of our main starting aces, and having at least right now Taylor showing a revival on himself to be able to show that he is worth in our bullpen rotation, can prove once and for all that this team has something, when there was a lot of questions coming into this game, especially towards our pitching. Now, obviously, like we said, Matt Barnes ended up giving up the blown save again. He gets the W, though, thanks to Rafael Devers, who was able to drive in Verdugo in the bottom of the ninth inning. And even that one was a very surprising one, because it was Verdugo who had a very unclean hit, but the second baseman could not field the ball properly to be able to get the out. Martinez got himself a really good hit right after that. And even Bogaerts almost had himself the potential walk-off, but that ball just died. Like, it was heading toward the monster. You could have seen that it was on its way, but it had probably a little bit too much on the top spin, and you just see the thing just dead right there. So ultimately, though, we had our best hitters coming up in the bottom of the ninth with Verdugo, Martinez, Bogaerts, Devers, who all at least had one hit, except for Bogaerts. Obviously, he went 0 for 3 today. And that was kind of a sad one for me, too, because Bogaerts has already been proving himself so well to try and maintain, having one of the better averages on the team right now. Actually, the best average out of the starting lineup today at 320. So to know that he was the one that ended up going hitless, along with obviously Christian Vasquez, Arroyo, and Dahlbach as well. Actually, even Hernandez had no hits as well. He was able to get on because of a hit pitch. But ultimately, it was one of those ones where, once again, the Red Sox were able to pull out a great win, a great pitching performance. It will definitely show a little bit of dividends to go into this next two-game series against the Braves. Obviously, it's going to be a very interesting one, knowing that it is interleague play, but we do have it as the Red Sox, if I am not mistaken. Let's actually confirm on that real quick. No, it is actually at Atlanta. So yes, we will have the first game be Eduardo Rodriguez versus Tucker Davidson. This one again for me is going to be the one that I question because of the simple fact that with these interleague plays, the pitchers have to be batting. And I've seen Eduardo Rodriguez bat before, and he is not exactly the kind of guy you want to see actually at the plate. But all in all, it was another amazing and great win for the Red Sox. They were able to pull away with an amazing little win for this game against the Blue Jays. Once again, having a very terrible series besides, this one game pitching wise, where the first game of the series we ended up having to have a good comeback in the bottom of the ninth to be able to actually win it 6-5, and then just losing out these other games in complete blowouts, including the obvious 18-4 with 8 home runs given up. It really does show, once again, this pitching staff is very questionable, and we'll really have to be looking forward to exactly seeing who is going to be that replacement person when Chris Sale comes back into the starting rotation, which still is in question exactly when that's going to happen. I look to it maybe somewhere either around July time, maybe right after the All-Star break, see exactly what he's going to be doing. Coming off simulation games, he is pitching off the mound, but how effective he will be to try and do his longevity in games is obviously one of the bigger questions. Maybe even see if he can be one of those guys to come out from the bullpen for a little bit, just so that way he can get some inaction games. Maybe be like a reliever for a pitcher who may be having a bad game and be able to go a couple of innings for them. That's always a big thing that we can question about. We can always try and see where Chris Sale will fit back into this rotation. Now, obviously, some of the other things that are being talked about is who is going to be the next person to really step up for us. Arroyo has actually been proving himself quite useful in these last couple of games, being able to get a few good hits, having a couple of home runs in the past couple of games. Obviously, like I mentioned, he did go hitless in this game particularly, but at the exact same time, he has been a really good fit and a really good impact coming into the later parts of this year. Obviously, Kike Hernandez was one of those guys who is a little on and off about things, but the one big question always comes back to Bobby Dalbec. Who is going to be the potential replacement of Bobby Dalbec? Because the way I look at it, he is a power guy. He is I will hit a home run, or I will eventually just get something to hit or swing and misses. That is pretty much what his entire style is. That's pretty much all that he is kind of been doing for us. And he has, unfortunately, not to say the worst of our, stats, but at the exact same time, it's not one of the better ones either. We can always look to some of the other people who have much worse connections, probably staying down into the AAA, people who we probably would like to try and call up from AAA. There's a lot of things that the Red Sox can do. Again, we are approaching closer to the halfway part of the year. We are still sitting in second place for the division. Fourth best record, I believe, right now in baseball. So it's hard to really say that this Red Sox team has to do a lot of adjustments, but you could definitely tell that by maybe trade deadline or so, we'll be trying to push for maybe someone to be a starting first baseman, because with Bobby Dalbec, he is good enough to be in the position that he is, but it's not good enough to where we can say he is going to be productive enough to be able to stay within that rotation period. So once again, I just wanted to thank you for watching my very first podcast. I would actually like to say, I don't know if I'm going to really call it a podcast. It is just a video of me just talking and explaining what I really love, which is Red Sox baseball. And I hope to do this every single time. This is the very first episode of Driven Deep by Red Sox Baseball. So thank you very much once again for watching this video. If you have anything that you would like to share about my video content or even about what I had to share, the comments are right down there for you to share and express anything to me. Leave a thumbs up in case if you wanted to just support me on my videos so I can be more recommended. And of course, the subscribe button will be right over here so that way you can get more content from me. And my name is Cab, and I am here to drive you crazy. Aloha, God bless, and take care.